Hello everyone and welcome back to Cute Crochet. My name is Sri and in today's video I am going to show you how to crochet this adorable little fox amigurumi. This is a no-sew pattern, super easy to make and perfect for beginners. This is great for a keychain. To make this, you'll need orange, off-white, black and a tiny bit of pink yarn. You'll need some stuffing to stuff the amigurumi. You'll need 4mm safety eyes and a blank keychain if you want to turn it into a keyring. If you want the tail to dangle, you'll need some small jump rings like this. For tools, you'll need a crochet hook, a yarn needle, something to use as a stitch marker and a pair of scissors. So let's get started. I will start with this orange yarn. This is a 4-ply yarn and with it I am going to use a 3mm crochet hook, which is a couple of sizes smaller than what is recommended for this yarn. It's actually recommended to use a 4mm hook with this. We do this so that our stitches are nice and tight and none of the stuffing shows through. We are going to start by making a magic circle. To do that, wrap your yarn up and over your finger like so, forming a cross in the front. Then insert your hook underneath the cross. Take the yarn from the other side and pull through. Then again yarn over and pull through the loop on your hook. Now remove this loop from your finger and this is the magic circle that we are going to work into. Start by making a chain 1. This chain 1 does not count as a stitch. Then we are going to make 6 single crochets into the magic circle. To make a single crochet, insert your hook into the magic circle and pull up a loop. You will have 2 loops on your hook like this. Yarn over and pull through the 2 loops and that finishes 1 single crochet. Let's do it again. Insert your hook into the magic circle and pull up a loop. 2 loops on your hook. Yarn over and pull through 2. Now we are going to make 4 more single crochets like this for a total of 6 single crochets. After you finish making 6 single crochets, you can pull on this tail to cinch the magic circle completely closed, and this brings us to the end of round 1. At the end of round 1, we have 6 single crochets. This amigurumi is going to be worked in continuous rounds, so we need to mark the last stitch of the round. For that I am using a paper clip here, but you can use anything. You can use a yarn in a different color or you can also get proper stitch markers. Round 2 is an increase round. For this round, we are going to increase in each stitch all the way around. An increase is simply placing 2 single crochets into one stitch. So, go into that first single crochet and make 1 single crochet. Then make 1 more single crochet into that same stitch and that is our increase stitch. Again, into the next stitch, place 2 single crochets. Now into the remaining 4 stitches of the round, make increases, that is 2 single crochets into the same stitch. When you reach the last stitch of the round, remove the stitch marker and place 2 single crochets into that stitch as well. This brings us to the end of round 2. At the end of round 2, you will have 12 single crochets. Go ahead and mark the new last stitch of the round. For round 3, we are going to increase into every alternate stitch. So, into that first stitch, make a single crochet. Then into the next stitch, 2 single crochets. Then into the next stitch, 1 single crochet, then increase. Continue repeating like this. Single crochet, increase, single crochet, increase, single crochet, increase all the way around. Once you reach the last stitch, remove the stitch marker and place 2 single crochets into it. For this and every other increase round, you should be increasing into the last stitch, and if you are not, you must have done something wrong in your counting and you will have to recheck your work. Go ahead and mark the new last stitch of the round. At the end of round 3, you will have 18 single crochets. For round 4, we are going to simply place 1 single crochet into each stitch of the previous round, keeping the stitch count constant at 18. Here I am at the end of round 4. For round 5, we are going to repeat the same thing as round 4. Make 1 single crochet into each stitch all the way around, keeping the stitch count constant at 18. I'll finish this and meet back up with you. Here I am at the end of round 5. On the last stitch of round 5, we are going to change colors. For that, start the stitch like you normally would, but with 2 loops on your hook, do not complete that stitch. Now bring in the next color, which is off-white in our case. Drape it over your crochet hook like so and pull it through the 2 loops. That's it. Now we have changed colors. Drop the orange yarn and pick up the off-white yarn and start working with it. We are going to work over the 2 yarn layers at the back as we go. For round 6, make 1 single crochet in the first 8 stitches. After making 8 single crochets, in the next stitch, we are going to make a bobble stitch for the snout of the fox. To make the bobble stitch, yarn over, then go into the next stitch and pull up a loop. You will have 3 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through the first 2 loops only, leave the last 2 remaining on your hook. Again yarn over, go into the same stitch and pull up a loop. Now you have 4 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through the first 2 loops only, leave the last 3 remaining on your hook. Again yarn over, go into the same stitch and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through the first 2 loops only. Repeat this 2 more times. When you have 6 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through all 6 loops. That's our bubble stitch. Now push the bubble to the front and make 1 single crochet in the next stitch. Now make single crochets in the remaining 8 stitches of the round, so 9 stitches in total. Here I've reached the end of round 6. Mark the last stitch of the round. I have been working over this orange yarn tail all this time. It has been sufficiently woven in, so now you can cut off the excess yarn. We will join this orange yarn again after a few rounds. For round 7, we are going to make one single crochet into each stitch all the way around, keeping the stitch count constant at 18. When you reach the bobble stitch, place a single crochet on top of it like so. I will finish this round and meet back up with you. Here I'm at the end of round 7. From round 8, we are going to start decreasing. Make one single crochet in the first stitch. Then in the next 2 stitches, we are going to make an invisible decrease. If you look at the stitches, they have a front loop and a back loop. For the invisible decrease, go under the front loop of the first stitch, then twist your hook around and go under the front loop of the second stitch, yarn over and pull up a loop and then finish the stitch like normal. In the next stitch, make one single crochet. Into the next 2 stitches, invisible decrease. Continue repeating the sequence all the way around, single crochet and then invisible decrease. Here I am at the end of round 8. Similar to the increased rounds, into the last 2 stitches of the decreased round, you should always be decreasing. And if you're not doing that, you have done something wrong in your counting. At the end of round 8, you will have 12 stitches all the way around. At this point, I'll put in the safety eyes and stuff the head before continuing. These are 4mm safety eyes. Place them 2 stitches away from the snout on either side in between rounds 5 and 6. I'll put on the safety backings off camera. Now stuff the head generously. For round 9, we are going to invisible decrease into every stitch all the way around. On the last stitch of round 9, we are going to change colors. Start the invisible decrease like you normally would. When you have 2 loops on your hook, bring in your orange yarn and drape it over your crochet hook. Then pull it through the 2 loops. At the end of round 9, you have 6 stitches around. Drop the off-white yarn, pick up the orange yarn and start working with it. For round 10, we are going to work in the front loops only. In the front loops, increase in every stitch all the way around, working over the 2 yarn tails at the back as you go. Here we reach the end of the round. At the end of round 10, you will have 12 single crochets. Now you can cut off the off-white yarn. It has been sufficiently woven in. Mark the last stitch of the round. You don't really need to do it when you change colors. You can clearly see where the round begins and ends, but now we'll work with the same color. For round 11, we are going to make one single crochet into each stitch all the way around, keeping the stitch count constant at 12. I'll finish this and meet back up with you. Here I'm at the end of round 11. Don't forget to replace the stitch marker. For round 12, we will increase in every alternate stitch. Make one single crochet in the first stitch. Then in the next stitch, increase. Again one single crochet in the next stitch. Then in the next stitch, increase. We will continue repeating the sequence all the way around. Here I am increasing in the last stitch of the round. At the end of round 12, you will have 18 stitches all the way around. On round 13, we are going to make the pause. Start by making one single crochet in the first 5 stitches. On the 5th stitch, we are going to change colors to black. With the black yarn, make a bubble stitch in the next stitch. Work over the 2 yarn tails at the back as you go. When you have 6 loops on your hook, drop the black yarn and finish the stitch with the orange yarn. Now make one single crochet with the orange yarn in the next 3 stitches. On the third stitch, change the color to black. In the next stitch, make a bobble stitch with the black yarn. With 6 loops on your hook, drop the black yarn, pick up the orange yarn and pull through the 6 loops. Then, in the next stitch, make one single crochet. We are again going to change colors to black. So just start the stitch but do not finish it. With 2 loops of orange on your hook, again drop the orange yarn and pick up the black yarn and pull it through the 2 loops. Again in the next stitch, make a black bobble stitch. Change color to orange and make one single crochet in the next 3 stitches. On the third stitch, change the color back to black and in the next stitch, make a bobble stitch. Then change the color back to orange and make one single crochet in the remaining 2 stitches of the round. This brings us to the end of round 13. You will have 18 stitches all the way around. Now we have finished making the paws. From round 14, we are going to start decreasing again. Make one single crochet in the first stitch. Then into the next 2 stitches invisible decrease. All the while I am working over the black yarn tail to weave it in. Again one single crochet into the next stitch and then invisible decrease. We are going to treat the bobble stitch like a normal stitch and work into it. Continue repeating this sequence of one single crochet and invisible decrease all the way around. Here I am at the end of round 14. You should have 12 stitches all the way around. Now this black yarn tail has been sufficiently woven in. You can go ahead and cut off the excess. At this point, we are going to stuff the body. Make sure not to overstuff so the bottom of the amigurumi remains relatively flat. For round 15, we are going to decrease into every stitch around. At the end of round 15, you will have 6 stitches around. Cut the excess yarn, leaving a long enough tail for sewing, and then fasten off. Then to close up the hole, I am going to weave this tail in and out through the front loops of all of the stitches of this round. Then when you pull on this tail, it should close up the hole nicely. With the help of a yarn needle, bring that tail through the center of the hole and then out through the top of the head in the center. Leave that tail hanging there for now. We can use this tail to sew on a keychain. Now I'll embroider the nose with some black yarn. Come in from the back of the amigurumi and out through the bubble stitch in between the first and second stitch. Go around the middle 3 stitches of the bubble stitch 3 times to embroider the nose. Then come out through the same hole that you came in. Tie a knot with the 2 yarn tails. Then cut the excess yarn and hide the knot into the body by pushing it in using the back of your yarn needle. Next I'll embroider the blush on the cheeks with some pink yarn. Again come in from the back of the amigurumi and out in between round 6 and 7 underneath the eye. Go around one stitch a couple of times. Then go over to the other side and repeat the same thing. Then come out through the same hole that you came in. Tie a knot with these two yarn tails to secure the embroidery. Then cut the excess yarn and hide the knot into the body. Next are the ears. Bring in your orange yarn and wrap it on your crochet hook, leaving a long enough tail at the beginning for weaving in. Then we are going to go 3 stitches away from the eye in between rounds 4 and 5. Go under that stitch and make a slip stitch to join the yarn. Then chain 3. Skip the first chain and into the second chain from the hook make a single crochet. Then in the next chain make a half double crochet, yarn over, go in the next chain and pull up a loop. You will have 3 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. Then we are going to go in between rounds 2 and 3 and slip stitch in between them to join. Now cut the excess yarn and fasten off, leaving a long enough tail for weaving in. We will repeat the same thing on the other side for the other ear. Again wrap your yarn on your crochet hook in the same way as before. This time we'll slip stitch in between rounds 2 and 3. Count 5 stitches from the first ear. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Go under the 6th stitch and make a slip stitch to join the yarn. After finishing the ear, slip stitch in between rounds 4 and 5 to join. Then cut the excess yarn and fasten off, leaving a long enough tail for weaving in. Now I am going to weave in all these yarn tails. With the help of a yarn needle, bring these yarn tails in through the base of the ear and out through the back of the amigurumi, 2 or 3 at a time through the same hole. Tie a knot with the 2 yarn tails, then cut the excess yarn and hide the knot into the body. Repeat the same thing with the other 2 yarn tails. This time I'll also include the one at the top. I have already brought the other two yarn tails out through the same hole. I'll use the one at the top to attach a keychain first before doing the same. Go through the jump ring of the keychain, then go back down through the same hole and out anywhere on the amigurumi. Go back in through the same hole and out through the top of the head. Again go through the jump ring of the keychain, back down through the same hole, and this time come out through the same hole as the other two yarn tails. Tie a knot with all three yarn tails and then hide the knot in the body. Next we are going to make the tail. Start with the off-white yarn. Make a magic circle in the same way as before. I am using the same hook I used for the body. For round 1, chain 1 to start and then make 6 single crochets in the magic circle. Cinch the magic circle closed and mark the last stitch of the round. For round 2, we will increase in every alternate stitch. Make 1 single crochet in the first stitch and then increase. Repeat this sequence 2 more times. Single crochet, then increase. On the last stitch of round 2, change colors to orange. You will have 9 stitches all the way around. For round 3, we are going to increase in every third stitch. Make 1 single crochet in the first 2 stitches. Then in the next stitch, increase. Repeat this sequence 2 more times. 1 single crochet in the next 2 stitches and then increase. At the end of round 3, you will have 12 stitches all the way around. For rounds 4 and 5, make one single crochet in each stitch all the way around, keeping the stitch count constant at 12. Here I finished making up to round 5. From round 6 we'll start decreasing. Make one single crochet in the first 2 stitches. Then in the next 2 stitches, invisible decrease. Repeat this sequence 2 more times. One single crochet in the next 2 stitches and then invisible decrease. At the end of round 6, you will have 9 stitches around. At this point, stuff the tail with a tiny bit of stuffing. For round 7, make one single crochet in the first stitch. Then into the next 2 stitches, invisible decrease. Repeat this sequence 2 more times. One single crochet in the next stitch and then invisible decrease. At the end of round 7, you will have 6 stitches around. This was our last round. So cut the excess yarn and fasten off, leaving a long enough tail for weaving in. Weave this yarn tail in and out through the front loop of all of the 6 stitches. Then pull on the tail to close up the hole. I will attach a jump ring to the tail and then attach it to the body. But if you want, you can directly sew it on using this yarn tail as well. Take the yarn tail on the yarn needle and take an unopened jump ring. Go through the jump ring and then go through the center of that hole and out anywhere on the piece. Now go back and forth a few times through the amigurumi with your yarn needle to weave the yarn tail in. Now all the pieces are done. We just need to attach the tail to the body. For that I am using another jump ring. Open up the jump ring. It's easier to do with pliers, but I don't have that right now, so I am using my hands instead. Insert the jump ring through the center back of the amigurumi in between rounds 13 and 14. Add the tail in the jump ring and then close it up. And that's it. I hope you guys liked this video. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.